So real quick, everybody, super excited to get this entire call started. So for everybody that's brand new on the call, I'm going to kind of tell you guys a little bit about myself and my story so we're not complete strangers. My name is John Guaman. I'm a 25-year-old entrepreneur. I got involved in this entire industry about 5, 6 years ago. And when I actually look back in my entire journey, guys, I actually looked at my first 6 years of the business compared to my first 6 months in the business and my first 6 weeks in the business. My first 6 weeks in the business, guys, I was making no money. I remember my first 6 weeks, I was negative in my bank account. I was literally a college kid that was basically making about 150 bucks a week, working at restaurants, busting his ass to make $5 to $7 an hour. I remember at the time when I got involved with this specific business, or even before this, actually, when I was 20, what I was doing was I had just lost my car to a bad investment with IPO trading. I had sold my car to get involved in the IPO trading, and I lost all that. I remember at the time my brother was sick, my parents had gotten laid off, and there was a lot of different negative situations that happened. And I remember my first 6 months, I didn't make really any big money in the industry. And it wasn't until actually about 6 months in where I wasn't really serious, because my first 6 weeks, I remember I joined network and affiliate marketing and wasn't making any money. I remember I started learning how to trade and wasn't making any money. And it was because I wasn't really serious. And maybe there's some people on the call that are kind of like that. Like you think this is going to work. You think this might or might not work, but you have a plan B, you have a plan C. And for me, it took 6 weeks for it to really be for me like, okay, this is my plan A. Like I'm going to make sure that nothing else kind of becomes that plan B. And at that point in time, that's when I started seeing massive, massive, massive success. In my first 2 years, I think most amount of money I ever made was like $5 grand a month. Then after that, the third year was like a jump start. I was making, I think my highest month, I don't like to say income claims, but results not typical, don't be typical, etc. This isn't a claim. This is literally what I've made. Third year in it, it was like 30, okay, we'll just say 30 cheeseburgers a month, okay, 30, and then 50, and then 100. So it took me almost about 4 to 5 years to hit a 7-figure yearly in an entire year. And I did that back in 2020 and 2021, the same thing. So I want you guys to be aware of right now where you're at in your journey, because I think a lot of times we live in a society where we live in a microwave fucking society, bro. I need you guys to be aware of that specifically now. Everybody's like, especially this generation, it's so quick. Like everything is so fast. If you want, okay, the high off, you can get a high off social media now. If you want, dude, if you want to date somebody, all you got to do is swipe left or swipe right. It's instant microwave mentality. And success is not like a microwave mentality. Small success is, fake success is, okay, it's microwaved, but you could have the microwave type of mentality or have the full course meal type of mentality. And delayed gratification in this business is absolutely huge. And a lot of times it takes a lot of vision to be able to see that. And the problem is, what I see with most people is that they aren't able to see it through long enough for their blessing. Okay, that's the biggest problem I see most entrepreneurs, most people, is they're not able to see it through long enough for their own blessing. So they sow enough seeds, okay, but they never reap because they're not around or consistent long enough. It took me 4 or 5 years, guys, right? 4 or 5 years, it's half a decade, okay, to really make an incredible amount of money in the business. But my first, couple months, my first couple weeks, I wasn't making that much money. I was only making a couple $100. Okay. So it took me 4 or 5 years to make 7 figures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you guys now over half a decade with hundreds of thousands of dollars that I've invested into different events, into different trainings, into different mentorship. I'm going to give you guys, and a lot of y'all have already received that from the trainings that we're giving you with the LXD platform. But I want to give you guys more in depth, okay, what it's going to really take to hit these big levels. Because you need to first be aware of, like, pre-warning, 7 figures isn't for everybody. Entrepreneurship in 2022 is so glorified. Like, and what I mean by that, it's like, it's glorified to the extent of like, everybody wants to be that guy. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Everybody wants to be that person. It's so glorified to the point it's almost disgusting, because nobody's going to really hit high levels. It's very rare. But I'm going to give you guys these 4 things, these 4 absolutes in order to get to that level. So get ready. But the first thing you got to be aware of is that you have
last man. I'm like,
different.
he was just in my DM.
One second, guys. Let me make sure I mute everybody. So now let's get straight into it. So check this out. Let's talk about the 4 absolutes. If you guys are ready, drop some 777s in the chat box. Drop some 777s in your chat box if you guys are ready. Okay, we're going to talk about the 4 absolutes for specifically, I would say for my business. So we're going to talk about my business, but you can use this for any business in a way. So I'm going to try to be it like more idealistic for, let's say, my company or my service or my business. And then, you know, people can kind of take it however they want to do it for their company or their service. So first one is going to be mastering the spiritual side of success. That's number 1. Number 2 is the mastery of the skills. Number 3 is the mastery of leadership and the development of leaders. And then which is the development of people. Okay. And then number 4 is having the right strategy. These are the 4 absolutes to hit 7 figures. So I'm going to go over them first off. Okay. The first thing I'm going to go over, number 1, is the spiritual side of success. Now, I didn't understand this. Guys, if you had told me in 2016, when I was a 16-year-old kid selling pot out of the back of the trunk of my car, that you need to be spiritually side of success. Okay, I would have laughed at you. I would have been like, bro, what are you talking about? I don't understand what you're saying. I don't understand anything that you're talking about, bro. But this is what I'm going to tell you guys right now. Understanding the spiritual side plays such a massive role. Because when we talk about the spiritual side of success, what we're talking about the majority of the time is the unseen. Okay, we're talking about what, you know, there's a different world. You know how there's multiple different dimensions. There's different dimensions of success. You need to be aware of that. And because of that, a lot of times people, they're not in that right dimension. They're not in that right frequency. And I've done calls on the spiritual side of success. I could literally speak about that for 1 whole hour, but I'm going to sum it up to you in a very, very quick standpoint. Okay. Man is what he thinks about most of the time. Man is what he thinks about most of the time. So what I want you to do right now is I want you guys to audit your ability to think and your ability to feel. Okay. To summarize spiritual side of success, you have to summarize your ability to think and your ability to audit your feeling, your ability to audit your reality. Okay. When we talk about spiritual side of success, we can break it down, right? We said words, images, and experiences, but that breaks it down on the external aspect. You can shift your reality. You can shift the spiritual side of your success with your words. Yes. With your images. Yes. With your experiences. Yes. That's to shift it. We can influence it. Yes. But the only way we can really truly figure out where we're at and what we're at, what reality we're operating from, is being able to audit it. And I used to do this back in 2017, 2016. I used to audit my thinking. I used to audit my belief system. I used to audit my programming. You have to audit your thinking, dude. And what I mean by that is, when you're thinking, are you aware of, yep, I love it, Mandy, right? Are you aware of what you're saying to yourself positively, or are you aware of what you're saying to yourself mentally, negatively? You have to audit this thing, dude. This is the biggest thing that you're going to realize. It's like the most successful people in the world aren't the most talented. They're not the most skilled. They're not the people that work the hardest. They're the people that honestly have mastered this ability. Okay. what is your ability to audit your thinking, dude? Can you audit it in the correct way? Yes, words speak, words build you up. Yes, images build you up. Yes, experiences build you up. All those three things, yes, build your belief system. What influences your belief system is your environment, is the people around you, is information that influences your belief system. Okay, and repetition that influences your belief system. It influences it. Those four things influence it, yes. But the only way it will ever shift in this journey when it comes to the spiritual side is by being able to audit your reality more than anybody else. And I've said it before again, and I'll say it one more time. Success belongs to the person with the strongest reality. Success belongs to the person with the strongest reality, the highest level of certainty, the highest level. Belief is just another word for certainty. Certainty is another word for what? Okay, certainty is another word for belief, right? So success belongs to the person with the strongest grip of their reality. Now, you know, in life, we have two resources. We find resources through, okay, we look at two different resources. We look at theology and then we look at science. So theology is like the Bible. Okay, like the Bible. And then you have science, which breaks down also like the scientific process behind what I'm talking about, the law of attraction, right? The law of vibration, okay, the law of assumption, the law of compensation. If you're on the call today, you want to study those laws, okay? You want to study those laws. Those four laws alone helped me make millions. Okay, so I'm going to say it one more time, and I'm going to do it very, very quickly, okay? Law of assumption, law of compensation, law of attraction, and law of vibration. You got to understand those four laws. So when we're talking about some of these concepts of the spiritual side of success, I'm breaking it down for you. There's two realms that we're looking, okay? The first realm that we're looking at is theology, Christianity, and then the second realm that we're looking at is science. Science and theology are saying the same thing. So if you look at the Bible, guys, or the original Bible, the Bible we're reading right now is not the real Bible. The New Times Roman version or Christianity or Catholic Church version of the Bible that exists today is not the real Bible, guys. Whoever told you that it's maybe half of the real Bible, maybe 50% of it watered down, 40% of it watered down. It's like you going out there and trying to see, how could I say this? Trying to imagine trying to go out there and drive in the middle of the night during a snowstorm and half of your windshield, okay, is covered in fog. How are you going to make it to the other side if you're in that scenario? That's what most people are doing when they're reading the actual Bible. You guys understand this, that the Bible you're reading today is not the real Bible. Okay, the real Bible was written in what? Hebrew. Hebrew was transferred over to Arabic. Arabic was transferred over to Latin. Then Latin was transferred over to English. You guys understand that? And then transferred over to whatever language that you're in today. But there's words that don't exist in Latin that don't exist in English. There's words that don't exist in Arabic and in Hebrew that don't exist in English. And behind every word is a different level of understanding. Behind every word is a different reality. So we'll never be able to really get to know the actual understanding of the Bible, okay, unless we are, number one, we study Hebrew and we get a hold of the original Bible, okay? What's my point? Somebody was asking me, what's my point? What I'm trying to tell you guys is there's this book called The Divine Matrix that breaks down the 50%, the other 50% lost books of the Bible. And I would recommend you guys looking into that. It's called The Divine Matrix, okay? Very great book. But what the Divine Matrix breaks down is that what the Bible is saying, there's multiple different quotes, like the ask and it is given, okay, quote. Ask and it is given, ask and you shall what? Receive. This is very simply just another way of saying or talking about the law of attraction, but asking in the right way. You become what you think about most of the time. The Bible confirms it. Okay. Now look at theology. Okay. You look at theology. Now let's look at science. If you look at science, science is telling us the exact same thing. Okay. Why? Because your mind, this is how science breaks it down. Your mind emits a frequency. That frequency is the only thing in the world that can actually bend matter. And then matter, that frequency is bent by gravity. That gravity bends matter, and that matter, no. The frequency affects the matter around you. And that matter is then bent by the gravity of that frequency. And then gravity, the only thing that can bend gravity is light. So it's all coming in form through one way. Now, why do you need to understand this stuff? To truly get to a high level of success, you either do it, okay, consciously or subconsciously on a spiritual level. A lot of times people make it to high levels, but they don't know how they got there. I'm here to tell you that a lot of them have mastered the principles of the spiritual side of success. Maybe they didn't understand how to break it down. So the spiritual laws of success. You have to study the spiritual side of success, understanding the principles, right? One thing that I read on this book, I forgot who, it was by Mike Murdoch. He said that, I'll say it one more time, right? Jesus Christ, a perfect example of a human being, right? And I'm not trying to get religious here, but this is the last thing I'm going to say on this. Jesus Christ, right? So Jesus Christ, when he came to earth, it said that his heart, right? Jesus Christ, his heart, his intentions what he shared to the world. He tried to prepare people with his heart and his intentions for infinite spiritual success, right? Infinite spiritual success. Okay. That's what he was doing when he came down to earth. Okay. Now, Jesus's principles was meant to prepare people for what? Infinite physical wealth. And if you weren't able to balance the two, there was going to be an imbalance in your life and obviously an imbalance in your income. So like, okay, cool. When we talk about income, we got to first talk about our life, because why am I talking to you guys about this? This has nothing to do with money. We haven't talked about money yet. It's because your money is a reflection of who you are. If you're struggling, okay, with your finances, there's something going on in your personal life. There's something going on in your mind. Man always is a mirror of his own thought, is a mirror of his own principles, a mirror of what we're talking about. So why I'm trying to talk about this, guys, is because you have to stop focusing on the fucking money. People want to hear 7 figures. People want to hear these high numbers. You have to focus on, you can't focus on that. You got to focus on your growth. You got to focus on the principles. Then the money will come, but focus on that more. A lot of people are messed up. They're trying to focus on the money. That's why they quit when they don't make money for 6 months. Imagine if I had quit my first 6 months. I wouldn't have seen a 6-figure year 2-3 years in. So be aware of this, okay? Spiritual side of success, right? Jesus prepared people for what? His heart, his intentions for infinite spiritual success, his principles for infinite physical success. So that's number one. One absolute to go 7 is spiritual side of success. Master the spiritual side, be aware of it, learn from it. The way that I organize my growth in my books is 30 minutes a day I'll spend reading personal development books that are like, let's say a spiritual book. And then another 30 minutes will be like, let's say a skill set book. Or if I'm reading an hour a day through audios, what I'm doing is I'm focusing on skill for 1 month, and then I'm focusing on the spiritual side of success for another month. So let's break it down. That's the next one. Spiritual side of success is number 1, being able to master it, understanding it, knowing what your belief system is. Okay. Knowing what your belief system is, what influences your belief system, how to shift your belief system. I have trainings on this. But knowing those three things off the top of your head and being able to consistently push on those three things is what's going to help you guys hit 7 figures. Second thing, skills. So we're talking about the skills of trading. Okay. In this business, it's trading, it's networking. Dude, you got to master the skills. For networking, it's like presenting, promoting, prospecting, closing, following up. Okay. Now, this is the key. You're not going to get good at the skills very early on. You're going to suck. But what the problem is with most people is that they try to delay the journey even more because they suck at a certain skill. And this is the thing, any skill mastered is just built up over time. So the faster that you can suck and the quicker that you can put in more reps, the better you're going to be. So that's the problem, is most people, they get discouraged their first 10 prospects, the first 30 prospects, the first 100 prospects. And they think, oh my God, I suck. I'm terrible, right? And they might suck. They might really be bad. I was bad, okay? But the problem is that somewhere along the line, okay, they're getting very discouraged. And then when they're getting very discouraged, they stop trying. The business, guys, is built off simple things. It's built off of repetition. The biggest problem with people is either they're not talking to enough people, or they're not talking to people the right type of way. It's that simple. If you want to win, you got to be able to talk to enough, but then also audit the way that you're speaking to most people. If you know 1 out of 7 in the law of averages, whether you're door knocking, whether you're doing sales, 1 out of 7, you're going to get a sale, or 1 out of 10, you're going to get a sale. 1 out of 10 people you talk to is going to get involved in the business. If you know it's 1 out of 10, and you go to talk to 100 and 2 only say yes, then the problem isn't the numbers. The problem is maybe in the way that you're going out there and marketing the business or prospecting in the business. So when you're prospecting in the business, that requires a good amount of what? Internal audit. You have to audit, right? Audit your skills. Maybe get better in the way that you're going out there and prospecting. Okay. So audit. So skills, let's talk about it, right? Mastering the 7 skills of trading, mastering the 7 skills of marketing. An absolute to get to a high level of success is one thing about 7-figure earners is they're able to what? Be chameleons. They've mastered every 7 skill. You know, when I talk about the 7 skills of network marketing, or I talk about the 7 skills of trading, the only reason 7-figure earners have gotten to that level is because they've mastered every single level. And not only have they mastered every single level, they're aware of how to teach every single level, and they've applied every single level. So in what area are you able to go out there and master? Or what area do you need to improve in? Obviously, you know, you can hit 6 figures just by mastering one. You could be an incredible prospector. And dude, I had 2 kids back in 2018. All they knew was how to prospect people really well. They put 40 people on an op call every day, and in 8 months, they hit a 6-figure income. Okay. So guys, you can get good at one skill and hit 6 figures. Just one skill. Prospect. One skill. That one skill alone, you can hit 6 figures in. But to hit 7, like in the long term, you're going to need to have all 7 skills of marketing down, 7 skills of trading down. Okay. And if you want to know how, I'm not telling you guys the how. I have videos. Go to your upline. Okay. Go speak. The how-tos are on my YouTube channel. I'm talking about right now the principles. So number 2 is the skills. Mastering the ability to have the skills. You got to ask yourself this. A millionaire is usually getting paid about, you know, every month, $80,000 to $100,000 a month. Let's do the math, right? So they're getting paid about $80,000 to $100,000 in a month. They're getting paid that high income, let's say they're working only 7 hours a day or 6 hours in a day, normal human being. That means that your time as a millionaire is worth $500 to $600 an hour. Do you believe your skills are worth $500 to $600 an hour right now? And if they're not at that level, then obviously you're going to have to increase your understanding of the skills, the repetition of the skills, and that'll increase the mastery of the skills. Is this making sense, guys? Drop some 777s in the chat. This is making sense. Drop some 777s in the chat. We got a couple hundred people on. Amazing. Cool. So we got the spiritual side of success down, the ability to go out there and master the spiritual side of success. If you're unable to do that, you're not going to maintain success. This is why it's so huge. I see people hit success fast. All right. I see people have a fast season in the business. Don't confuse a bad season for a bad run. Look at the long term. The long-term play with everybody that I've seen is they've mastered the spiritual side. Number two, the skills, the mastery of the skills. Are you worth $500 or $600 an hour? You might be like, holy shit, of course I am. You have a high self-image. You're like, yeah, of course I am. Of course I'm worth $600 an hour. Okay, cool. You might say that. But in the marketplace, is it reflecting that? And if it's not reflecting that, then you're having an issue. You might have a duplication issue. You might have a prospecting issue, whatever issue that is. This goes back into the next thing that I'm going to talk about, right? It's having the ability to go out there and audit. Audit is your self-awareness, right? Your self-awareness. Self-awareness is a spiritual side of success principle. Value is a spiritual side of success principle. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to talk about, four absolutes, is leadership development, or the development of people. Okay. The development of people in any business is going to lead you guys to have an incredible amount of success in any business, guys, whether it's sales, whether it's network marketing, whether it's building a team, whether it's the manager of a corporate CEO, Fortune 500 company. The highest paid people in the world have mastered the ability to go out there and develop people. If you struggle with developing people here, you're going to struggle with it in any business. Okay? You're going to struggle with it in any business. Now, when we talk about developing people, how are we developing people correctly? What way can we develop people? Obviously, we have how-to processes, okay? But what's really the point? What are we really trying to do with developing people? Well, it's the four absolutes. What are we trying to do? We're trying to obviously let them be aware of the spiritual side of success when we're developing. We're trying to make sure that they master the skills, and we're trying to also make sure that they master the principles. So the principles of leadership development. What are certain principles? Like character. Having the right type of character is a principle. Responsibility is a principle. You can have the skills, dude. You could have the skills. You could be an incredible prospector, an incredible closer. You could be an incredible trader. But if you don't have the leadership principles down, you're screwed. Like character. Wealthy people have a good character. What else do wealthy people have? Integrity. When they say they're going to do something, guess what? They follow through. When it comes down to doing the right thing and the wrong thing, they do the right thing. Even if the right thing isn't the most beneficial thing. That's integrity, right? That's integrity. I know a lot of leaders that don't have integrity, but you'll see it play out in their business in the long term. Okay, cool. What other principles are you trying to do? Are you trying to instill in leadership development? Responsibility. Responsibility. That's a principle. That's a leadership development principle. Like I said, you could have the skills. You could be an incredible closer, incredible prospector. You could be incredible at promoting events. That doesn't matter if you don't have any responsibility. You can be up here with your skills, but in terms of principles, you don't have responsibility. You're going to self-sabotage yourself. Imagine you being an incredible promoter for events, bringing 100 people to an event, or 300 people to a massive event, or 1,000 people, but because you lack responsibility or the principle of responsibility, you self-sabotage yourself. It's disorganized. Those people no longer believe in you, and they get involved with somebody else. Okay. So I want you to be involved, or I want you to be aware that the principles play such a role too, because it's like, we talk about responsibility, we talk about integrity, we talk about character. Let's talk about some other stuff. Let's talk about leadership, the ability to serve other people. In what way can you serve people? I don't mean serving people money-wise. Because if you serve people just money-wise, then it's one of the lowest forms of giving, dude. I'd rather, instead of give you something, I'd rather share what? Value, right? Share value or share time with you. Time is the highest form of payment that you can give somebody. Not when I get on calls now, guys, it's not, yo, bro, John, thank you for your, it's not never thank you for your money. It's thank you for your time. Because everybody only has 24 hours in a day, which is why I'm very adamant about it. But let's get back into it. So what I'm trying to break down to you guys is like leadership, serving. Do you have the ability to serve people and put their needs above your own for a short amount of period of time? Now, I don't mean not taking care of yourself, but I mean serving them, genuinely serving them with the value, genuinely serving them with results, genuinely serving them with the right type of mentalities. Okay. Every day I wake up as a leader and think in my head, how can I serve my people? How can I serve my group to make sure they get the most amount of value? They get the most amount from my product, from my service. What way can I add more value to the world? That's my mentality every single day. What way can I get more, not get just more responsibility, but what way can I add the most amount of value? You know, I love what Alex put up on his call the other day. It wasn't even his call the other day. It was something that he posted up on his story the other day. We were talking about it. It's like law of compensation, man. It's like, dude, how difficult is it for people to replace you? If you're replaceable as a leader, and everybody's replaceable, but your income is in correlation to how easy or replaceable you are. So like, okay, we talk about that. We talk about another principle, responsibility. We talk about professionalism. We talked about integrity when it came to developing the right type of principles. What's another principle? Work ethic, being a productive leader. Okay, not a manager, not somebody that hops on the calls, but applies from the calls. Okay, that's a principle. You fail in that principle, okay, you're going to fail in the long term. Structure, being structured, being organized, that's another principle. If you fail to be structured in this business, you're going to probably fail in the structure of your finances. If you fail in the structure of your finances, you're going to fail in the structure of your family. Okay. And that is essentially going to create a generational curse in your entire business or in your entire life. So faith, another principle, faith. Spiritual side of success is different from the leadership development principles. It's different. So the first one we talked about, the spiritual side of success, understanding that, mastering that to hit 7 figures. Number 2 is skills and developing the skills, mastering the skills. Number 3 is the leadership development principles, right? So now the principles, like what we talked about previously, was like what we talked about previously. I'm sorry, guys. I'm like, I have 2 screens on here and I'm losing my train of thought because there's people on my IG live and then there's people on here. So I'm reading from both. So now let's get back into the next slide that we're going to talk about. Having number 4, the right type of strategy. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about on the call. Having the right type of strategy is going to lead you to massive success, whether it's trading, whether it's marketing. you have to move calculated in the business. Okay. A smart man with no plan will lose to an idiot with a plan. I'm going to say it one more time. A genius or smart man without a plan will lose to an idiot with a plan, with a strategy, with an execution. So what is your strategy right now for building the business? What is your strategy right now for trading? Do you have a winning strategy? If you fail to have a winning strategy, you're going to fail in helping people not get results. People are not getting results. They're not going to get involved. They're not going to stick around. Same thing with building. You have a strategy for somebody to come in and simply learn how to go out there and build. If they don't, then guess what? That strategy, then they're going to fall off. There's going to be confusion. There's going to be fall off. So what strategy do you have? Is it calculated? Are you calculating the people in your business? Are you calculating how much money you should be making trading? Are you compounding your finances? Are you calculating your dollar cost averaging? Are you calculating your portfolio? Are you calculating your next 5 moves? Because if you fail to do that, then you're going to lose to the idiot that has those next 5 moves. It's like a game of chess, right? I love to play the game chess, right? In chess, one move will have you lose the entire game. And you can be you could have the best offense, you could have the best defense in chess, but one wrong move in the game of chess, one small bit of one failure of detail, being able to see the detail in the game will immediately throw you off and immediately have you lose the game. You can trace back every lost game in chess to one move. You can trace back every bit of your success probably to one moment or one decision. Just like you can trace back every single person's failures in business and in life to one principle, one failed principle. So when I talk to you guys about this, I'm trying to kind of open your mind up to the 4 things that you want to focus on when you're developing yourself as a leader or as a trader or as a business owner. You want, number 1, the mastery or the ability to go out there and master the spiritual side of success. I have videos. I can't break it all down for you guys. I don't have the time. This would be a 5-hour seminar if I broke down 1 hour of each. But the spiritual side, I have the videos. Study them. Go listen to The Magic of Believing. Go listen, go read The 7 Laws You Must Honor for Uncommon Success by Mike Murdoch. Go read the book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. What does Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself talks about? It talks about atoms. In an atom, there's protons, electrons, and neutrons. An electron is the only thing in an atom that will appear or disappear due to a conscious viewer. Water reacts different. This is proven by science, guys. Water is like alive. Water reacts different when it's being watched versus when it's not being watched by a conscious viewer. It's very weird. Okay. And legitimately, when you're thinking of things, electrons, okay, frequencies go off of your head. And guess what? Electrons tend to appear. Albert Einstein talked about this, right? You match the level of vibration and frequency, what you want cannot help but make it into your reality. Okay, so pick up some of those books, The Biology of Belief. If you're into science, go pick up The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton. If you're into science, go pick up Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. If you're into more of the other side, Christianity, I would pick up The Magic of Believing. I would pick up The Power of Self-Awareness. It talks about references in the Bible that go back to spiritual references of new age nuances from today. Okay. I would pick up the book, The 7 Laws of Dishonor for Uncommon Success, right? I'd pick up those books. Now, that's where you're going to find this knowledge. I would listen to Your Wish is Your Command. I know some of you guys have been listening to that. Some of you guys haven't. Listen to Your Wish is Your Command. I would listen to it. I've listened to it at least 10 times. Number 2, skills, the mastery of the skills. Because you guys are on the call today, you're in the business, I am, right? You're in network marketing, affiliate marketing business. You're a marketer, okay? You're a networker and you're a marketer. So in that realm, in that spectrum comes 7 skills. In those 7 skills, guys, it's your responsibility to be able to go master them. And the thing about this business is we don't have anybody that's forcing your hand. I'm not your mom or your dad. I don't have a belt in my hand like, yo, read the books. Like, yo, master the skill. Yo, make the calls, make the trainings, right? My mom used to do that when I was a kid, right? When I was like studying for math and I would get an answer wrong, she'd be ready to whip my ass. Yeah, flashbacks. You don't have anybody to do that for you. And that's the problem in the business, is because your own discipline is put to the test. Your own values put to this test. Your own self-worth or self-image is put to the test. Your own ability to respect or disrespect yourself is put to the test. Master the skills. Get the 7 skills and master them. Get so good at them to the point where people can't say no. Get so good at them to the point where you can just, off the top of your head, name the 7 skills. People can master, dude, people can fucking master the words of a Drake album or a Drake song or a Pop Smoke song or a Fabio Foreign song or a Meek Mill song or a Weekend song, but they can't master the presentation. That blows my mind, dude. It blows my mind. You're shooting yourself in the foot, dude. What are you doing? Shooting yourself in the foot. I listened to the presentation over 80 fucking times before I ever even presented. I listened to it in the car, in the shower, while I was waking up, while I was on my way to school, I'm serious. Like I'm actually serious, guys. Ask Elias Montillo. Elias was with me in 2016, 2015, when I was listening to those presentations in my car, audiobooks in the car. Elias would be like, yo, turn that shit off, bro. Like, I'm like, no, bro, we got to listen to Jim Rohn. Right? We got to listen to this stuff. She said drills for workouts only. Yeah. For working out, when you go hard at the gym, listen to your music. But dude, when it's time, when it's in between stuff, bro, I do this to this day. I wake up every morning and I put an audio on. I put something on about the market. So skills, repetition of the skills, bro. It's going to take time. It's going to take time. Okay. Don't focus on the time. If you're attached to the time limit of your business or the time limit of your success, you're going to fail. You're trying to fight time. You'll never win against time, guys. The only way you'll win against time is by becoming that 1% better every single day, right? By not acknowledging it, right? So skills, number 3, leadership development, mastering the principles, right? There's a book called The 21 Unrefutable Laws of Leadership. I recommend every single one of you guys to go pick up that book. Absolutely incredible. It breaks down some of the principles. Jim Rohn, why do I study Jim Rohn even to this day? Well, his net worth's over 500 million. He just mentored, he was the direct mentor to a guy named Tony Robbins, whose net worth is 700 million, and mentored hundreds of thousands, millions of people around the world. That's why I listen to him. But leadership development principles. Let's break this down. My advice is to study the principles. Listen to Jim. Listen to who I gave you guys earlier, and focus on that development. And the last thing is strategy. Get a winning strategy for building, get a winning strategy for trading. If you don't have that strategy right now to execute and plan, then you're going to lose. This is a bonus. I know I call this the 4 absolutes to hit 7 figures. This is actually the 5th absolute. Let me give you the 5th absolute. The 5th absolute is, I think with like, yes, with certain people to hit 6 figures, I always say there's going to be a short amount of period of time where you have to hit 6 figures is different than 7. So to hit 6, it's a lot more hard work than smart work. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. If you haven't hit 6 figures yet, you need to grind your face off. And what I mean by that is like, dude, you're going to probably enter. And dude, I've seen people, you know, even if you've lost a 6-figure income, you can make it back in 2 to 3 months with the right plan and the right type of execution. But you're going to have to work your face off to hit your first 6 figures. But to go from 6 to 7, like I said, it's a lot more smart work than it is hard work. Because to go from 6 to 7, you have to learn how to scale. You have to invest more back into your business. You have to learn more. You have to study more. You have to understand the principles more. Yes, you have to execute more. But there's a lot more smart work that happens than harder work that happens. You can go on a brute hard work sprint, dude, to get 6. But to go to 7, you got to work. You can't just work hard, bro. You got to work very, very, very smart. So from 6 to 7 is more smart work. Last thing, guys, that is the last thing. I appreciate every single one of you guys for hopping on the entire call. Check it out. If you got value on this call, go back on my last Instagram post, drop some type of value, what kind of value you got from the entire call. But these are the 4 absolutes, guys. Study this, understanding the spiritual side of success, the mastery of the skills, the leadership development principles, and having the right type of strategy. Those 4 things, guys, is what's helped me hit very high levels of success. Hey, if you can understand them, if you can practice them, if you can teach them, if you can go out there and really work with those things, they're going to build you and your business up through the roof. So a lot of you guys are like, well, John, this is like the 6th call that you're telling me about spiritual side of success. Hey, this is the 2nd call that you're telling me on the spiritual side of success. Well, duh. Success doesn't change. It doesn't change. It's a lot of the same things. If you're on the call today and maybe there was one single thing that hit different, that might have been the thing that you'll be able to go out there and execute. Maybe you need to understand it more. Maybe you need to listen to it again and again and again. I had to listen to Your Wish is Your Command like 10 different times until I finally got it. Even now, I'm still getting it. And Bob Proctor says you never get it, right? You actually are always getting it, right? You're always getting a deeper level of understanding. You'll never get there. So I want you guys to be aware that, like, yes, the principles, a lot of you have heard of it before. A lot of you have probably watched me talk about it before, but it's a difference between understanding them, because people that understand them 90% of the time have the results. I thought I understood the principles back in 2016, 2017, but I didn't really understand the principles. So coachability, guys, look at some of those resources that I'm giving to y'all. I think that will definitely help you out. They will definitely improve y'all. But other than that, I appreciate every single one of you guys for hopping on the call. This has been absolutely incredible. Let's run it up, guys. I'm going to talk to y'all soon, and let's run it, guys. Push 90. I'll see you guys on the next call. Peace.